Ladies and gentlemen, hit subscribe to this channel right now. RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard have essentially been confirmed by the United States Senate. You will hear from Senator Susan Collins, and you will hear from the Senate regarding RFK Jr. in a second. This is amazing. ABC News, RFK Jr. passes key Senate panel vote to advance health secretary nomination. New York Times, RFK Jr. passes Senate committee vote. Then you have Tulsi Gabbard, who is phenomenal. They're both phenomenal. GOP Susan Collins to back Tulsi Gabbard confirmation. And you can hear Susan Collins right now. Hit subscribe to this channel. Be here for the live stream tonight to celebrate.
I just put out a statement explaining my reasoning. After extensive consideration, conversations with her in my office, attending the hearing, questioning her there, and listening to her in the closed session, I decided to vote that I will vote for her. I believe she's committed to strengthening our national security, and I questioned her extensively about her views on Edward Snowden, and I am now satisfied that she will not seek in any way to having pardoned, which was a question that I answered in open session, that I asked her in open session, and in the closed session she elaborated further on her reluctance to use the word traitor.
Great, so, thanks guys. She's got a meeting. She's got an off-campus award.
Have you decided on RFK Jr. yet?
So if you have Susan Collins, you're really not going to have anybody more than potentially Murkowski and potentially Mitchell McConnell, who might decide not to vote for Tulsi Gabbard, but then you can lose Collins, which you already have for Gabbard, thank God. But you could have lost Collins, Murkowski, and Mitch McConnell, and you would still be okay because J.D. Vance would be the tiebreaker. Okay, so Republicans can lose 3 senators and still pass anything they want, confirm anyone they want, with the help of J.D. Vance. This is the Senate right now. Check this out.
Thank you, Senator Warnock. We now have not only a quorum, but all members of the committee are present. I move that the committee favorably report the nomination of the Honorable Robert F. Kennedy, Jr. of California to be Secretary of Health and Human Services. Is there a second?
Second.
There is a second. The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Grassley.
Aye.
Mr. Grassley, aye. Mr. Cornyn.
Aye.
Mr. Cornyn, aye. Mr. Thune.
Aye.
Mr. Thune, aye. Mr. Scott.
Aye.
Mr. Scott, aye. Mr. Cassidy.
Aye.
Mr. Cassidy, aye. Mr. Langford.
Aye.
Mr. Langford, aye. Mr. Daines.
Aye.
Mr. Daines, aye. Mr. Young.
Aye.
Mr. Young, aye. Mr. Barrasso.
Aye.
Mr. Barrasso, aye. Mr. Johnson.
Aye.
Mr. Johnson, aye. Mr. Tillis.
Aye.
Mr. Tillis, aye. Mrs. Blackburn. Mrs. Blackburn, aye. Mr. Marshall.
Aye.
Mr. Marshall, aye. Mr. Wyden.
No.
Mr. Wyden, no. Ms. Cantwell.
No.
Ms. Cantwell, no. Mr. Bennett. Mr. Bennett, no. Mr. Warner. Mr. Warner, no. Mr. Whitehouse. Mr. Whitehouse, no. Ms. Hassan. Ms. Hassan, no. Ms. Cortez Masto.
So, of course, the Democrats are going to vote no because, God forbid, RFK Jr. doesn't worship their sacred cows on a number of topics. Ladies and gentlemen, there's never been a hit piece on either RFK Jr. or Tulsi Gabbard. There's never been a negative opinion piece or op-ed or, just hit piece masquerading as investigative journalism or journalism. There has never been a negative printed article on RFK Jr. or Tulsi Gabbard that actually refutes anything that they've stated. It is almost always a broad, vague, ambiguous, hyperbolic premise where they accused RFK Jr. of not abiding by this viewpoint or that viewpoint and being against this viewpoint and that viewpoint, and therefore he's going up against, like Socrates, going up against the paradigm of thought, the accepted paradigm or viewpoint of good, civil, wonderful people with tremendous expertise, and therefore he should not be listened to, and therefore, according to the morally superior, highly educated, quote-unquote journalist, RFK Jr. Should not be confirmed as HHS secretary. That's a long-winded way of saying that hit pieces, journalism that's been leveled against RFK Jr. was just public relations. It's only been public relations against Trump, RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, Kash Patel, anyone around Trump. That's why 70% of Americans, according to public opinion polls, distrust media. And I'm trying to speak in an algorithmically friendly manner. They're accusing him of not believing that certain things work. But his viewpoint is more nuanced than that. With Tulsi Gabbard, they've accused her of Hillary Clinton, in the most defamatory statement, accused her of being, an operative of another country like Trump. That's what Democrats do all the time. If you disagree with them, or if there's corruption that's exposed, whether it's a Hunter laptop or the DNC emails, it's a plot by another country to inform you of how corrupt Democrats are. So it's never the corruption or criminality within the Democratic Party. It's always a plot by another country, the Kremlin, to influence you to vote against Democrats because they're so afraid. Our adversaries are so afraid of Biden. They're so afraid of Biden. They're just as petrified of Biden as the Democratic Party when they saw him one day debate Trump one evening, and even George Clooney wrote an op-ed advocating that he step down for Harris. And we still don't know why he was forced to step down. Nobody has truly explained, oh, he couldn't communicate. Oh, we didn't feel that he was functioning in a manner that would bring confidence to the world or to the American public. And this is the same man, by the way, who was the most popular candidate of all time. I still haven't heard how literally the most popular candidate of all time 5 years ago is ousted within less than 4 years after one debate performance, after he won his primary. Joe Biden did not lose even one state in his Democratic primary, yet he was usurped by his vice president. How does that happen? If he's so popular and he has so much widespread bipartisan support. Okay, to become the most popular candidate of all time, you have to have a whole lot of support, even from conservatives, or a decent amount of a modicum of support. Okay, that makes no sense how that happened. But Tulsi Gabbard is an anti-war candidate, anti-war public, congresswoman. She wants to end never-ending military conflict. The Democratic Party does not care about that. Morally superior, highly educated liberal Democrats, progressives, left-leaning people don't care about that. Foreign policy to left-leaning individuals is focusing on one small country in the world, and that's it. And that's pretty much it. Or if it happens to be a country that is run by a communist politician or socialist politician. That's it. With RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, Kash Patel, John Radcliffe, what President Trump, what J.D. Vance, what they represent is a paradigm shift that wonderful, morally superior liberal Democrats don't care about. Okay? The United States of America will not engage in never-ending military conflict. Tulsi Gabbard, President Trump, J.D. Vance, and others will see to that. Also, we will not bow and worship the sacred cows of a industry for profit. RFK Jr. will see to that. God bless you all. Be here for the live stream tonight. Thanks, everybody. This is huge.